Iran in its actions overnight, launching a ballistic missile attack on air bases housing US forces in Iraq. The Pentagon says at least 2 sites were hit in Erbil and Al-Assad, west of Baghdad. It says the missiles were launched from Iran itself. Iranian state television says the attack was launched in revenge for the US assassination of the Iranian general Qasem Soleimani. The White House says President Trump has been briefed and is monitoring events. Olivia Krellin has the latest.
The roar of rockets as Iran hits back at the United States. 2 bases in Iraq, both housing American forces, struck by Iranian missiles. Shouts of be careful, get inside," in this footage, reportedly taken as the missiles struck. The Pentagon says 2 bases, one in Erbil in northern Iraq and the other to the west of the capital Baghdad, were struck by numerous rockets. Iran says the attack was launched in revenge for the US assassination of the Iranian general Qasem Soleimani. Reacting to the strikes, Donald Trump took to Twitter. "All is well. Missiles launched from Iran at 2 military bases located in Iraq. Assessment of casualties and damages taking place now. So far, so good. We have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world, by far. I will be making a statement tomorrow morning." For his part, the Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif wrote, "Iran took and concluded proportionate measures in self-defense under Article 51 of UN Charter, targeting base from which cowardly armed attack against our citizens and senior officials were launched. We do not seek escalation or war, but we will defend ourselves against any aggression." American politicians were quick to respond to the attacks.
I think it's important that we consult with our allies in the region, that the President consult with Congress, and that he put forward a clear strategy for how to de-escalate this particular situation.
I want to know whether the Iranians were shooting at our people or at infrastructure. But it is clear this is just another example of Iran trying to export terrorism. Iran wants to take over Iraq. Duh.
The bases are symbolic targets. Donald Trump visited Al-Assad in 2018. More than 5,000 US troops are currently stationed in Iraq. Tehran's response comes just hours after the burial of Qasem Soleimani. Both sides are now watching the other to see what they'll do next and how they'll respond. Olivia Krellin, BBC News.
So how will the US respond? Well, our correspondent in Washington, Nick Bryant, says there are signs President Trump may now try to de-escalate the crisis.
Donald Trump is facing the biggest foreign policy test of his presidency so far, and the question before him is whether to continue the cycle of escalation with Iran or whether to show more circumspection. Now, he's been warning on Twitter, of course, that he would retaliate very strongly if Iran attacked US targets. But after they actually did so, he's been surprisingly low-key on social media. "All is well," he wrote on Twitter after the Iranian attacks. "So far, so good," he said, talking about the damage and casualty assessment. There are unmistakable signs from Tehran that it sees this as its proportionate response to the killing of General Soleimani, that it doesn't want war with America, it doesn't want a further escalation. One US official has described that approach as a "now let's call it quits" approach. And there are signs that Donald Trump has heeded it. There was talk last night that he would address the American people from the Oval Office, something his predecessors had done in the past to announce military action. But he decided not to do that. He will speak to the American people later on today. A sign, perhaps, that he's showing caution, that he wants to lower the temperature. But with Donald Trump, of course, you never know.